Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, our first topic of the day, Connor's first penny. The U.S. Labor Board finds that Activision Blizzard withheld raises over unionization. This is from Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. The U.S. government's National Labor Relations Board has found that Call of Duty and Overwatch publisher Activision Blizzard withheld pay raises from some Raven Software employees as a result of their unionization. Activision Blizzard has disputed this, however, saying it wasn't possible to offer raises due to legal obligations. As reported by the Washington Post, the NLRB's findings will likely fall in favor of the Raven employees in their ongoing negotiations with Activision Blizzard. The group of quality assurance workers became the first union at a major North American video game company in May 2022 and filed the NLRB complaint in September. Quote, "It's a very preliminary win for the union at this point. It gives them a little bit of leverage," said former chairman of the NLRB, Wilma Liebman. Quote, "It's part of their tactics, hit them wherever they can to put pressure on the company in order to reach an agreement with them and stop violating the law." Wow. They some shitheads over there, aren't they? Huh?
Yeah. Can't say I'm too surprised considering Activision Blizzard's past actions.
Yeah, just add it to the long checklist of things, and it's so easy to so very quickly fall into the, Activision Blizzard, man, they really suck. But, no, we got to hit them on every single one of these notes. Like Liebman says here, you hit them with everything in order to, get as much as you can in order to get what's right for everyone in this situation. It's so upsetting and so depressing and numbing to see just how much how deep the rabbit hole goes with Activision Blizzard. I remember, over a year ago now when that first story broke, and it was just so fucking disheartening to see the state of the industry and where it's at in one of the biggest publishers ever has just been a shitty place for all of its workers and they employ so many people and they sell so many copies and all this money goes around and now you can't even spread some of that love. Come on now, son.
Yeah, greedy company. And thankfully we won't be really having to possibly deal with stuff like this much longer if that merger or the acquisition by Microsoft finally goes through. Since we've been
is what we keep hoping,
but on that,
it's gonna have to be all right, motherfuckers. You're taking over. Fixing. You better fix it because it's your problem now.
And the good thing about that is they'll be on a clean slate. They don't have the same issues. They wouldn't, at least going out the gate, have the same issues that Blizzard has had for so long with its upper management screwing over their workers. So it's, a big chance for them to actually make it a good place to work and not fall into bad habits, which still could happen. Though Microsoft might be better with treating its workers and being more proactive in trying to solve some of these issues that exist within the gaming industry, they could still commit those actions as well. It's definitely possible. So now all we're going to have to start doing is keeping an eye out for Microsoft and how they treat their Activision Blizzard workers. So,
yep, indeed.
I hope this stuff I hope they're just able to, get the pay raises that they deserve. I hope that they don't have to wait until Microsoft acquires them to get those raises. They should get them now because obviously they're breaking the law. I'm assuming, or at least it seems like they are, labor laws.
And then it's just on us as an industry and us as consumers and people who enjoy these games that everyone works so hard to put out for us that we really hold these executives' feet to the fire. And when they're doing dirty stuff, we got to be like, yo, what the fuck? And unfortunately, because we're dealing with entertainment, it's hard to it's a tricky conversation of man, I would just rather not support this type of company if it treats its workers this way. But due to the nature of the video game industry, it's just hard to balance that because you're really just punishing devs at that point, and they're already getting their asses handed to them by their higher ups. So it's such a tricky place to be in, and Activision Blizzard is genuinely just one of the most disgusting companies out there, and it's unfortunate that they hold the keys to so many beloved IPs and stuff. I mean, Call of Duty was such a big thing for us as kids, and we loved Overwatch. For many years we loved Overwatch, and we see the release of Overwatch 2, and for the most part it seems okay, but there's some tricky stuff where you go, man, I really wish you didn't do it that way, and then I know their launch has not been smooth for Overwatch 2 as well. So with all the DDoSing and stuff, and you have to wonder if maybe they're suffering this because of how they're treating their workers, and maybe now assholes out on the internet are doing these DDoS attacks for those reasons, or they're just doing it to be an asshole. Who knows? But yeah, it all feeds into each other, and it's on us to pay attention and make sure everything works out right.
Yeah. It's easy to trash on Overwatch, admittedly, as well, which is probably a possible reason why those DDoS attacks have been going on, because, it's funny.
Connor, you and I have no interest in Overwatch 2, is that right? I don't. You don't?
I had interest solely because people I know were playing it, but I honestly just, in its current form, can't play them, considering who makes them. I can't support Activision Blizzard in that way. Kind of, I almost downloaded it, and I was like, this feels nasty. And
no,
I just didn't do it.
he pulled the gnat. He said, I just can't. I can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Good on you, Connor. You're one of them ones that I know will say something and stick to their guns for the most part.
Yeah, for the most. Hey, what's that mean?
Hey! We're all human. We're all human. I do it too.